And welcome to Shift Talk, SHIFT Talk. It's not a swear word. Don't hit us, you algorithm gods. My name is Chad. With me, as always, is Mr. Gregson, who, as you'll notice, is back to actually being Gregson.
Thank you.
I
appreciate the actual spelling.
Feel free to call him Grayson down in the chat if you're so inclined.
Please don't. Don't actually do that at all. In fact, don't ever do that. Thanks.
We shall see. But outside of your name, Greg, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know why. The last 2 nights, I haven't slept horribly or poorly, but man, just exhausted. I think it's the weather. Like now we were in like the frozen tundra and I was very much like, oh, all right, gotta sack up. You gotta get my brain ready, mentally prepare for this -17 wind chill. And then all of a sudden it got to like I'm in a sweatshirt and it's 30 degrees outside. I feel like I'm in Florida in the summer. It's so much better now. And I feel like the warm weather is making me a little drowsy.
I could see that. I mean, yeah, today was a weird day. I was like exhausted when I woke up, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go relax for like an hour or two. I have it in my schedule or what have you. I'm gonna do that, and then like I had to do like one or two like little things, and I'm like, well, now I'm wide fucking awake. Might as well just go, do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Go on the what's the word I'm looking for here? Road.
Yeah.
All that sort of fun stuff. But no, I kind of feel you. It's been a weird month, man. Like I've been like here, and like not a headache, but like every now and again it'll become a headache.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like almost in a constant state of pre-headache.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when the barometric pressure just does this all month. It doesn't stay in any way, shape, or form in one spot. And humans are just like, what's happening? This isn't right. It's the equivalent of going to the ocean floor and back a whole bunch of times. It's terrible.
Yes. I'll go with that. Sorry, I'm trying to send links. Oh, God, ads.
You're good.
Oh, my gosh, I forgot I had the volume cranked all the way up.
Oh, God, it's all good. It's all good.
Thankfully, nobody else but me heard that.
Yes, but we have a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about today.
Yes.
Mostly car related. Excuse me. There's the tired coming in. Yeah.
We have Eric Bernard over on YouTube going, yo, and then he's laughing at the Grayson. We've already got him saying it in chat. Gold star to Eric.
Ooh, Eric.
And he goes, I want that Volvo V70 wagon. Greg, do you still own a Volvo V70 wagon?
Wait, say that again?
Eric over on YouTube goes, I want that Volvo V70 wagon. Do you still own a Volvo V70 wagon?
I surely do not. That has been sold for many, many years in, you're not in prep, but for my 2016 V60 Polestar. Unfortunately, I do not own that car anymore. It is actually 2 owners removed from me now. I do believe I still have contact with the current owner, but it's still out there, kicking and being enjoyed, which is awesome. Hasn't been scrapped, it hasn't blown up. It's a testament to the build quality of the engine, the car. So no, it is a good car, but unfortunately no longer in my ownership. Hopefully, maybe again one day. I would love to own one just because of the sound. I really miss the sound of that car. Car was very comfortable to drive, very good to drive. Loved the Spaceball, but man, the sound of that thing was the real party piece, and it sounded so good.
Swap that motor into your current car.
I mean, I could, but I need someone else's money. That's the thing.
Money, the ultimate pain in the ass.
Yeah, exactly.
And he does want you to know, FYI, Grayson, I installed the coilovers on that S80 you recorded years ago.
Oh, nice. Nice. That was Joey's S80, right? That's a great car. Honestly, I still want one of those because nothing screams Swedish performance luxury like an S80 executive lowered on coilovers with a V8 in it. It sounds great. It looks the business, and it's just a cool car. Plus, you're just riding in luxury, just cushy ass seats, CD player. I'm just like, this is the peak. This is peak 2008. I love it.
Yes, and one day, when money is the plentiful, we're going to take that V8 engine, and whether he wants to or not, I'm going to force Sean Ford, who's in chat, what's going on, force him to put that engine into a C30. That'll be the sign that I've won the lottery, is making Sean do things against his will, but in the Volvo space. But I think he's just wacky enough to do it. We have Andrew Pastorelli over on YouTube. YouTube, way more active than Facebook tonight.
What's up?
I don't know
YouTube?
where to go with that,
but good job. You're winning you're winning the battle of largest following and viewership of the social channels. So good on you.
Fantastic. So, now that we've fulfilled our contractually obligated Volvo segment.
That's right. That's right. Let's talk cars since there's people here.
Greg, you have news on
everyone
on the Scout.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, Scout was basically and you may actually know this better than I would, Chad. A long time ago, I think Scout was basically a model by a brand called International Harvester, and it was a truck. International Harvester was a company that made farm equipment, it made cars, it made a whole bunch of different things. But they made the Scout, which was a truck. And currently, the IP, or intellectual property, is owned by VW. And VW announced a couple of years ago that they were going to bring Scout back as a brand of EV SUV/truck. So the Scout name would live on. But considering the global climate of EVs sort of plateauing, not everyone wants to buy one. The push to get everyone into one is slowing down a lot, especially here in the US. VW has now said that they are postponing the Scout launch to 2028. But since I gave you that article, Chad, there is an update that this was from The Drive, which is a great news outlet. We're friends with them over there. They're awesome. Definitely go read their stuff. But they said that VW had postponed this until 2028. They have an update as of 2:40 saying a Scout Motors representative told The Drive that the company is still targeting, quote, initial production, end quote, in 2027, but did not explicitly rule out the possibility of a delayed launch. And the article has been updated to reflect that. But when companies reach out after an article is published and say that they're still targeting 2027, it's a pretty good indication that that's not happening. They're trying to just stave off the news release, and the news of it being delayed. So this sort of piggybacks across all brands of everything's going EV, everything's, it's going to be EVs from here till eternity. And that's just not the case currently. Every car company, literally every one of them, except I think maybe Jaguar, who's like fully all in on EV, is basically saying, no, we're not doing this. We are going to, delay or have it as part of the lineup and not be the lineup. And Volvo, actually, speaking of, we started the show with that. They were one of the ones that was like the biggest proponent of going all EV. They spun off Polestar as an EV brand, but the Volvo lineup is going to be all EV eventually anyway. So everyone is now balking at that, and they are pulling back, and they're going for hybrids, mild hybridization, and eventually saying EVs will come into the fray down the line as the whole lineup thing. So this is now another one with everything that's going on as far as EVs being pushed. Here's another one being delayed and another one being delayed. My question to you sort of on this, Chad, is like, do you think that this is sort of staving off the inevitable, or is it a real thing where those in the EV space should be worried that EVs are not going to be long for this world eventually? Muted.
So what I think, a lot of this actually is when it comes to like, because correct me if I'm wrong, the Scout, I mean, it absolutely looks phenomenal. If I'm going for like an EV or, well, I think this is an extended range EV, i.e. the engine is a generator in some of the models. I don't know enough about the Scout, other than, I'd like to put a big block in it. But
it looks really cool, I'll be honest. The design on it is really good.
But
it looks the business for sure.
So, and if, like I said, I'm 99% sure it's got that, kind of like how the Fisker Karma was, where it has the gas engine is strictly a generator. Like it is in no way physically connected to the drive wheels, which is frankly the direction I figured a lot more people would be going.
Yeah, that extends range way better.
Other than it just being odd that like you're driving your car and your engine is just idling the whole time or at an RPM to generate sufficient electrons. So that might be a little bit weird. I always thought it would be not to get horribly sidetracked, but I always thought it would be an interesting idea if you had, traditional engine, whatever way you wanted to mount it, regardless, right? And that's unimportant and it'll make sense in a moment. But I always thought it would be kind of interesting if you deleted drive shafts, axles, etc. And then you just had an engine, you had a transmission, and behind the transmission was a generator. Right? So, and you could tune it to such a degree or what have you to where like it would generate electricity and feed into a battery when you're, say, not on the gas or anything. But instead of a drive shaft going to, say, the rear wheels, just to keep it simple, you would have two high voltage cables, a positive and a negative, going to an electric motor in the back. And then at that point, you now have, number one, you have infinite traction control possibilities, right? Instead of like pulling timing out of the engine or anything, you could literally just pull power out of the electric motor and in that instance or what have you. So I always thought that something like that would become a thing, right? But as far as like EVs and stuff like this or what have you is, number one, the appetite for electric vehicles or extended range electric vehicles or, this thing looks awesome. If I had to get an electric SUV, this would be the one I would get. It looks like it looks like a Rivian had a baby with a brand new Bronco Raptor, right? It looks good.
It does.
But I think a lot of these companies are kind of taking a step back. And if not, I don't think any of them are axing their EV plans. I just think because the United States market is such a massive market, and I don't want this to become about the politics, right? I don't care if you agree or disagree with them. The simple fact of the matter is that America is becoming more internal combustion friendly with each passing day.
Yeah. Well, that's really quick before you continue your point. This is an interesting point because part of the article says Scout chose an American location for its production facility largely to take advantage of the shelter provided by the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, which was done away with by Congress in 2025. So part of this decision is political in that nature because the legislation was there and now it's gone. So, part of the reason they chose to build in this country was like, oh, well, they would have like, subsidies or cuts of some kind
Right,
monetarily.
but the whole thing is I didn't want to get into the good or bad. I'm just
Oh, for
stating
sure.
this is the current
It's
political
the climate.
climate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like, you know,
Well, it's a back and forth all the time. And so
and
how are these companies going to
so
figure this
so
out?
3-4 years ago, electric car sales on the rise,
Yeah.
and it looked like that was a trend that was going to continue because the laws dictated as so.
Yeah.
Now that they're not there, demand has plateaued or even dipped off.
Yeah.
As we've talked about before here, 60 over half, I think it was like 60 or 65% of all EV buyers are likely to go back to internal combustion after their time with an EV. So I just think that's more of the circling back to the whole like canceling plans or delaying. I think everybody's kind of playing a waiting game. You have that. You have how are tariffs going to affect this? Like again, I'm just stating what is.
Right.
I cannot stress enough how much I don't want to get into a political argument. In fact, I won't. But now you have all these changing climates. So something where you were projected to sell X amount of units, now that's say cut by 25%, and that's being generous. Well, that 25% in sales makes the difference on whether or not it's a profitable endeavor.
Yeah.
So I think you're seeing a lot of car companies sort of, what the company we like to absolutely take a dump on almost weekly here, for good reason. Stellantis and how they handled Dodge, specifically the Charger.
Yep.
They are not coming back with some brand new Gen 4 Hemi. They are coming back with an updated version of the Gen 3 Hemi. Meaning they're not really putting any R&D, they're not really putting any sort of, I don't want to say effort, but they're not really reinventing the wheel.
Yeah,
what they're
correct.
doing is they're going, okay, we have this thing, we still have the tooling to produce it, therefore, let's just put that back in.
Yep. They liked it. We can make it. Here you go.
But it's simpler than that. It's not like, okay, well, we did all of this over dual overhead cam stuff. We could easily make a dual overhead cam Hemi, even though technically speaking, most 4-valve per cylinder engines, by just the nature of 4-valve per cylinders, are Hemis. But regardless,
Sure.
so I think it's just the waiting game, and I think that tells a much more worrying thing if I'm an OEM. In the simple fact of, okay, this is what it is now. In 6-8 years, or I'm sorry, 5 to 7 years, my math is wrong. You get the idea. When there might be a change in the political climate, I'm not saying there will be, I'm not saying there won't be. I'm trying to play this right down the goddamn middle. Just call me Scotty Scheffler, right in the fucking middle. But if at best case scenario, the laws pendulum every 8 years, how are you supposed to run a business?
Well, that's the exact point I was making for sure. Like, it just in that passing comment, like, it's no wonder that so many car manufacturers are having so many problems with their cars is they don't know what to do. They're trying to make new technology to adhere to our own needs. And this is not me trying to be like apologetic or apologist for billion-dollar companies and their executives, because I'm not. But there is a level of understanding from an engineering standpoint that we all need to sort of go by here, is they don't know what to do to satisfy the needs of the market. Because from a propulsion standpoint, again, to your point, every 8 years, who knows? Or even 4 years, the last 3.
Well, I'm just saying best case scenario. If you have 8 years, you can develop. Worst case, it's every 4 years.
Right, but best case every 8 years, and the time it takes to develop a car is 7, from idea to wheels on the tarmac. is 7+ years. So how are you supposed to deal with that exactly? Like it's an impossible ask.
Right, and like again, you have these. I'll give you another example. All of the issues that GM is having with the V8s, right?
Yep.
Why is that happening?
I mean, I don't know where you're going, so I'll ask you. I don't know. Why is that happening?
Because they're using lighter weight oil in the engines for less resistance to make the engines more efficient.
Right.
You know, you know, if that wasn't a thing, the engine's failing wouldn't be a thing. And the funniest thing about it is I'm not saying it completely fixes the issue, and I'm not going to sit here and stamp my, do this and I guarantee your engine will survive. But put a heavier weight of oil in your GM V8s, modern ones, and that's kind of that'll help. Again, I'm not trying to say do this and it'll absolutely fix it, and then all of a sudden I got a pile of lawsuits on my desk.
No, you're right though.
That's why we need merch that just says automotive expert ?
Or an asterisk and it says not legal, as for legal reasons this is a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's just really interesting. I mean, I think here's the thing, and we'll kind of wrap up on this because we actually have internal combustion news and from a brand that is actually fairly exciting. To kind of put a bow, well, sort of exciting.
Yes.
It'll make sense, I promise. Is electric comes with a certain stigma that they haven't been able to shake. Range anxiety is a thing. Now, something like this Scout, again, you put in 10 gallons of fuel. I think most people who do that in these types of cars, like I think the Karma and I think Chevy did a version of it. I forget which one. The ELR, I think the Cadillac version of it.
Yeah.
People were having to put fuel stabilizer in their gas tanks for how little gas they were using.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is tech that I think needs to come to the fore because, again, the person has the safety net of gasoline. But they don't like we tell people this all the time. You don't realize how much of a use case an electric car is for the overwhelming majority of people. Right? So once it can get beyond that, whether it be this type of tech, whether it be solid state, whether it be a combination of God only knows how many different things, right? Mm-hmm. When it can shake that, then it just becomes free market.
Right. Absolutely.
And I've always been a proponent of, I don't care what propels your car. Gasoline, diesel, natural gas, your feet, whatever. I don't. You have the power to decide.
Right.
Right? And let that decide where our future goes. I mean,
right. It's the forced entry that's the problem.
Right. Anytime you sit here and tell someone they can't buy something or they won't be able to buy something, human nature for most people is, I want it more.
Right. And you're also telling people what to do with their money, which nobody wants to have happen to them outside of maybe a financial advisor. Like, oh, you can't spend your money on that. Well, why not? I earned that money.
Right. And
I should be able to spend it however I damn well please.
And you're telling them to spend it on something that, even though it probably won't be, there is a clear line in the sand that makes it objectively worse. Range.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, it's going
to be interesting over the next.
It's interesting to sit here and see. Like, but honestly, I think a lot of these manufacturers need to shit or get off the pot. Right?
Yeah,
You're seeing manufacturers make decisions or what have you. In my mind, I think there's more going on to this story than just, like they said, we're still targeting production initial production in 2027. So does that mean they're
Yeah,
going to start building these things in 2027, or they're going to start hitting dealerships in 2027?
I think dealerships. I think they're gonna start doing like their basic, like normal launch models this year in 2026, and then next year is when the real production sort of ramps up. That's sort of the vibe I was getting from the article.
Gotcha. So, because I mean, again, and it's the last I'll say of it, and then Andrew's been a chatty Cathy over on YouTube, so I'll touch on that in a second. But again, extended range electric vehicle with a gas generator on board makes sense.
Sure does.
They should literally the entire marketing campaign for this thing should be how far a literal tank of gas gets them. Because let's just say you have 200 miles of range in the battery, and the generator is obvious. That's a more efficient way of getting mileage out of a gallon of gas than having it go through a whole mechanical setup.
Yeah.
And just say, look, you charged it up, you went 200 miles with a full tank of gas, which is only very small if memory serves. You can go 600 miles. And guess what? You fill it up and you can go another 400. Rinse
Right.
and repeat.
Yeah.
Just do that. If they can, that should be the entire marketing plan. They should be giving it to creators who are going on road trips, as many as possible. And I will gladly volunteer shifting lanes to do that testing for you. Greg and I will literally drive. Greg will drive, I don't know, maybe this, and I'll drive
this.
a Bronco or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll drive to go see Elliot out in Kansas.
There you go.
And see how it compares to a normal SUV.
Yep.
And I promise you, you get enough of that, people will be like, oh, so I don't have to really worry about it. Because most people won't give a fuck if the gas engine is moving the car or if, mystical magical electrons are moving the car. They don't care. As
No
long
one
as it
cares.
moves the car and they don't have to sit down for 15, 20 minutes or even like an hour if they want to slow charge it or something like that.
Yep.
Nobody will care. Again, at that point, it is a washing machine, and nobody really cares that the washing machines aren't run on a fucking Briggs and Stratton.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
at any rate,
Yes. Talk to chat real quick. I got to go take care of a kid thing. I shall return.
Godspeed, my friend.
Thank you.
So, Andrew, so I don't know if anybody noticed this. I got to go back and find his initial comment. So Andrew goes, so unfortunate news, Greg, which is fantastic because Greg just left. Had to pull the old S60 Polestar out of winter storage and into the salt since the P73 Type R swapped CRV decided to start leaking coolant. To which my natural response, as I was replying in chat, was Type R CRV. Steve, if you're in the chat, this is literally your moment to shine. And by moment to shine, I mean you will enjoy this. So yeah, Andrew goes, yeah, I lowballed an HMO imported Integra B18C Type R engine on a whim since I snapped my CRV B20 Z2S tensioner bolt off the block. Fun times. And ended up getting my bid accepted, swapped it into the CRV. Nice. And then he's talking about hybridization and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see diesel gas electric driving cars soon. It's commonly used in shifts and offshore drilling, but it does come with more maintenance and more complex electronics. I mean, yeah, but it also just makes sense. You know what I mean? It just, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, granted, nobody's really doing a butt ton of maintenance on a drive shaft or their axles. At least I hope not. But using a gas engine with electric drive does come with a lot of benefits from a performance standpoint or what have you. I mean, obviously it's a little more inefficient than just using the gas engine as a generator, but I mean, works in ships, works in diesel locomotives, and that's on a much, much larger scale. The biggest hurdle to diesel, gas, electric would be the average American learning what basic maintenance is. Yes, but on the flip side, back to our original point, is the average American looks at a car no different than we look at a microwave or a refrigerator or our washer and dryer. You know, most of us, if the refrigerator stops working, we're not getting in there or we're not getting in there and trying to tinker and fix it ourselves. You know, you're calling someone. Just like most people take their car to a mechanic or the dealership or whoever to do their regularly scheduled maintenance. Yes, there would be some education on, you know, the electrical side of things, but we've been using hybrids for a while now, so people kind of have at least a get through the day worth of knowledge to kind of understand that. Andrew works on a diesel electric drill ship, and the flexibility seen from the setup is insane, but the complexity from it on techs having the ability to work on it and the cost of maintenance is a challenge. I mean, I could imagine. Oh, good. Greg's camera decided to take a dump. Average passes the test, but differences on some cranks high and low, so it's significant. It's causing oil cavitation and failures. I mean, I guess the good news is that compared to that, an offshore oil rig, using it as an electric car is simpler. At any rate, electric car, and Andrew concludes with electric cars need more time in the oven for public safety because of the fire concerns and high voltage dangers / training for mechanics. I would agree with you there. It's still new enough to where your mechanic down the road might not work on it. You know, you might need to see a quote unquote specialist. The biggest thing with electric cars and just those batteries in general is having fire departments equipped to handle them. Because right now you need a special method. You need a special foam to try to put the fire out itself because it burns so ridiculously hot. And even then, once the fire is quote unquote out, you have to dunk tank them, submerge them for weeks on end before the fire can be considered dealt with. As someone who had an engine bay fire, thanks to a faulty battery of all things, still not bitter about that at all. Literally in the time it took me to get out of my car, push it away from my house, call 911, the first responders were on the scene, and by the time I was getting off the call with 911, the fire was out. Like, out, didn't have to worry about it. That was it. It was done. Had that been an electric car, completely different story. So, that's where stuff like solid-state battery tech comes into the equation. Where the risk of that thermal runaway and that risk of just that intense fire because it's not a liquid is much better for the for it as a whole, strictly from a safety perspective. As Greg nods in agreement. Joel from Canada. I don't know why I said it like that.
We're going to beat you in the gold medal game, just FYI.
Yeah, and keep your hands off them rocks. Or whatever the hell you did in curling.
Bink! Oh, yeah, we did the exact same time. Dude. It's like
all good, brother. All good. He goes, from Canada, in French, I have been following you guys for at least a year, and you're the most... Oh, God, he just went there's a lot of French there. I'm sorry. Greg might have a better chance than I
No.
barely paid attention to 2 years of high school Spanish.
The only French I know is "Je regrette, je ne peux pas français," which is the only phrase I learned when I went on my honeymoon, and it means "I am so sorry, I do not speak French." That's literally all it means. The end.
But he does say, "Love you guys. Take a minute to translate. Vous avez up differences." Yes. When I take my fiver,
We shall translate.
I'll do that. Or when Greg starts talking, I'll do that. Steve, hello. You're late. We just talked about a Type R swapped CRV. Sad you missed it. You may want to connect with Andrew over on YouTube because that's his car. And he could probably tell you all about it. Andrew goes, it is shocking that insurance companies still allow electric cars on ships. It's crazy since a number of the ships have been lost over the last couple of years, billions gone. It is kind of a crazy thing to think about, especially when you consider the fact that, like, you know, one, electric car fire is hard to put out. Two, worse. Not you, Steven Sacco, Steve Wildkamp. He's our resident Honda boy.
Right.
You know, it is interesting to sit here and say because, like, if one bad, two really bad, three, you know, we're literally sinking ships over this. Let's figure it out. Sean is giving me how to translate. Yes, Sean, but yes. But Mr. Sacco, welcome to the show. Sorry if I put you immediately on notice. I apologize. I sometimes forget that there might be other Steves in this world other than, you know, Steve with a V, who is a longtime supporter. So
Yes.
I apologize. But from now on, we'll call you Steven Sacco, Steve A, and Steve V, Steve B. Burn. Let me go translate that while Greg.
Yes.
I don't know. You're an interesting guy. Say something interesting.
Oh, you give me far too much credit. I am super not interesting. I am a now middle-aged white dude from the suburbs. I got absolutely nothing. Let's see. Things. Oh, I still have my summer tires on my car. That's interesting because I'm literally sitting next to. You can probably. I'll just do this. Hey, look, my winters with car seat backs on top of them. I literally do. I literally do nothing these days. I really got to put this on my car, even if just for 2 months to stave off a little bit of summer tire wear. But yeah, the summers are still on my car. We haven't had a crazy winter, but man, it is. It is very interesting here in New Jersey this year. We have it's not really car related, but like the weather has been very up and down. We had, and I guess, you know, Steven from Canada probably knows all too well about the weather, but we literally had like 2 weeks straight where we feels like minus 15 when you were waking up, and I'm like,
yeah, all that Canadian air was getting in here. Sorry.
Yeah, they were trying to like invade the U.S. with their weather before the Winter Olympics. They're starting dominance with their weather patterns. Like, stop that. We're gonna overcome this and beat you in the Olympics. But man, crazy. I'm very much over the winter, and I'm probably just gonna keep the summers on at this point. It's the middle of February. Screw it. I think we're past that point.
I think something might be getting lost in translation, but the general tone is very nice from Joel. Google Translate has it as "you idiot, stupid, completely unhinged by cars," which I'm guessing is just a nice way of talking about our passion for cars. I hope. I mean, I am an idiot, I am stupid, and I am at times completely unhinged. So, you know, you're not wrong.
I think the end of it loosely translates to he says love you guys, take a minute to translate.
You have
Vous avez beaucoup de fans français.
right,
It's like,
but
thank you from your French fan.
Again, he continues. I adore you, especially for your parts on automotive history. Love you guys. Take a minute to translate. You have many French fans, so apparently we're big in Australia, and we're making inroads into
Yes.
I guess France or
French
Quebec?
Canada. Yeah, because they Quebec.
But again, Joel, if you're still here, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah. I'll score more points. I missed the Nordiques. Love the Avalanche, but I missed the Nordiques.
Yeah, the Avalanche shouldn't exist. The Nordiques, bring them back.
Those jerseys were so good, man.
All timers.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. What am I missing? Sean. Nope. Steve goes JDM Life. I can call you Sacco. Got it, Sacco. Andrew continues. Electric cars turn into Class D fires quickly when there's heat so high the metal is now a combustible material, and the hull is now flammable. Well, ain't that just about a lot of fun? Words. See, Joel, I struggle. First language, only language. I struggle with the English language. Yeah, I mean, kind of bringing this back to cars. I know Orlando Speed World, the dragway there. You can't run electric cars there just because of the nature of when they catch fire. And let's face it, there's a lot of these electric cars that are doing 10 second passes. That may not sound a lot, especially if you follow a lot of drag racers on YouTube. I assure you, that is stupid fast. Well, as a point of comparison, a Porsche 918, one of the holy trinity of hypercars, will do in absolute perfect conditions with the perfect tires, will do a high 9-second pass. Nobody's going to call that car slow.
No.
Well, when you're doing a 10-second pass, you're over $130. You're approaching at 100, approaching like 140-ish miles an hour, depending on how your car, whether it's just fast in the short track or it does it on the back end with horsepower and stuff like that.
Think about it this way: a Jaguar F-Type in the same thing. That is not a slow car. That is a car that almost anyone can buy right now. They are cheap. A Jaguar F-Type V8 with 550, 575 horsepower will do a quarter mile in 11.5 or 11.6 or 11.7, depending on which one you get. That is very fast. And many EVs can wipe the floor with that car. Mm-hmm. So, that's what happens when you have instant torque. And that's what happens when you don't have to have all your power go through a metric shit ton of mechanical bits.
Well, it's not infinitely, but it's infinitely adjustable traction control, right? Right. Your traction control is literally a computer controlling a dimmer switch, as opposed to the rear wheel. We're sensing that the rear wheels might slip. Let's pull ignition timing. Okay, they're still slipping. Let's pull more. Okay, let's close the throttle a little bit. Up. Right? All of those mechanical parts have to move for your traditional traction control to work. And in some cases, it's literally applying the brake, which is just great for your rear brake pads. But it's just that's ridiculously fast. And it again, the time tells the tale, but it's the top speed. It's how quickly these things get to 125, 130 miles an hour. Yeah. I don't know if any of us have actually hit anything at 130 miles an hour, but things happen. Yeah. Just ask that Australian kangaroo this past weekend.
Yeah. The likelihood of survival is drastically reduced.
Not even that. Just survival. Just what it does to mechanical components.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it won't, Andrew, but it just annoys me when I have when there's not the correct bottom of hat to forehead ratio or hat to forehead ratio. It's 100% thinning, and I've definitely considered going the full Greg route, but
it's much better.
God, that makes you. I'm sorry, I won't say it. That's too mean. even for me.
No, dude, I legitimately don't care.
It
This
adds
is
10
me.
years.
This 100% it does. This is me giving up on hair.
I mean, you're married with 2 kids. You don't have to worry about it.
Correct. I don't give a shit. Like
At
this
this
was my
at this
wife's suggestion.
at this point in my life, I'm going to be fishing in the divorcee pool.
Hey, a lot of hot divorcees out there.
Yes, there is. I need to be in shape so I'm actually something remotely resembling desirable. To myself, I absolutely hate myself at the moment. Not from I hate how fat and dumb I am, and I sound like a chick. Horsepower. Because funny, the stream delay ain't too bad for that comment. I think on YouTube it's 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
On Facebook, there shouldn't be any, but I know Facebook has a built-in one. I think, technically speaking, Twitch, of all the ones we've streamed on, has the option to be like as close to no delay as possible.
Yeah, because the comments on there are just, if you're big, it's just a constant stream of crazy shit.
Yeah. Well,
like,
I mean,
you have to be as real time as you can be on that platform.
yes and no, but this is a car channel, so we won't dive too deep into that.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? All right. This is a good one. And since I don't know if I really want to dive too deep into the... okay. I'm going to take a quick break.
Okay.
But your talking point for while I am gone is...
Nice. Here we go.
If you could take any SUV from the pages of history
Okay.
and bring it back in a modernized version, and your ability to sit here and say how you would modernize it, granted, if you sit here and say you're going to take like a K10 Blazer and turn it into a crossover, I will drive to your house and slap you. You'll just see this side go blank, and 30 to 40 minutes later, you'll hear a knock on your Greg's garage door.
It'll just be my side. It'll be your side blank, and I'll just be talking. You'll continue the stream on your own, and I'll be like thinking that I have technology problems again. And you're like, oh no, I just muted you and got rid of you. The end.
Oh no, I'm not doing it techno. I'm driving to your house. I'm texting your wife. She's going to let me into your house. And you're just going to hear the door open.
Oh God.
But any SUV from the pages of history
Okay.
that you can bring back
Yep.
into today's world and modernize it, how would you modernize it so you have your choice of engines from the modern world? You can't take a car and be like, I'm going to put a 454 cubic inch Chevy big block from 19 blur.
Yeah.
Has to be a modern engine.
Has to be modern engine. Okay.
And I'll even add a caveat. Has to be a modern engine from an OEM. So, as some of you will find out tomorrow with my reel, Sonny's legendary engine builder makes a 940 cubic inch big block for the street. So, water jackets, runs on 93 octane. Insane. Definitely not going to miss that one.
One point of clarification.
Yes.
And I'm not going to pick this, which is why I'm asking. Jeep originated as basically like a military vehicle. Technically, it's not a sport utility vehicle; it's an off-road vehicle. But they make SUVs now. Can it be a Jeep that was like the old Wagoneer, but we have a new Wagoneer, right? Like it has to be something that's discontinued and not in production in name only.
Yes, because now we're getting into the weeds of we have a brand new Grand Wagon. We have a brand new Wagoneer. It's a full-size SUV.
Right.
It has a Hurricane engine.
Yeah. Could I redo it? Like,
so just like wood paneling and a V8.
Yeah. Like this is my example.
You could do both, but start with one that isn't made anymore or was bastardized in some way.
Okay.
Got it. I'm looking at you, Blazer.
Got it.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay. So there's a couple of things that we could do here. I mean, there's a lot that has been brought back, right? So like the Bronco is now back. So I don't, and quite frankly, that's a cool SUV now. Like there's two SUVs on the planet currently that offer a manual transmission. One of them is the Jeep Wrangler. The other is the Ford Bronco. There are rumblings that we might get manual transmissions in other things. Potentially Subaru might bring it back. Ford might throw it into the Maverick or the Ranger. There's rumblings. No, nothing confirmed. But the Bronco's been brought back already. A lot of people wanted that, and they brought it back. It's a cool SUV. It really is. If I was gonna, interestingly enough, sidebar to this topic, my wife's car just got hit. We had to replace 2 passenger doors, front and rear, and get a whole bunch of things done to it through insurance. But the whole point of that is we had a Jeep Wrangler as our we had a Jeep Wrangler as our rental car because we thought, oh, the boys are good to kick out of it. And they freaking loved it. They thought it was the best thing ever. But we lived with that car for about a month, and our buddy Alex has one and loves it. They're a Jeep family. They've had Jeeps for years. But I'll be honest, I always really wanted a Wrangler. I thought they're really cool. They can do off-road stuff. But even just being in the car and driving it and being a passenger in it, I don't want a Wrangler anymore. And the Bronco is sort of it's a bit more refined version of the Wrangler. Personally, I would much rather buy a Bronco now than I would buy a Wrangler. So, little sidebar to that. But the Bronco is back, right? So things that have been discontinued that are no longer here. The first thing that comes to my mind is the Blazer. And we had a Blazer or have a Blazer. It's not a real Blazer. It's not a thing. The K10, like what Chad said, that is the one I would bring back. That thing is just cool. It's a body on frame, old school truck, obviously. And that's what I'd bring back first and foremost. Like that thing needs to exist. It's just cool. It's old school cool. It is one of those things where he's like, that deserves to exist again. Steve says the new Bronco sucks ass. I disagree. I like the new Bronco a lot. It is definitely it's a cool vehicle. It's driven by people that suck ass because I know at least 4 people in the town I live in that bought a Bronco just to be cool. Whereas if I were to buy one, I would get one because I think the Bronco is cool, not to look like, a colossal douche nozzle, which is what a lot of people is that. New Blazer is trash. That is correct. That is correct. And Joel then talked about the SUV from the Lamborghini in the 80s, which is the LM002. Yes, that is an excellent idea. And that would be crazy. That was actually my second one. But for mass market, the K10 Blazer, that thing for sure needs to exist. If we have a Wrangler, if we have a Bronco, bring back the K10 Blazer. Make it an off-road, cool 2-door, 4-door SUV to compete with the Bronco and the Wrangler. And you can even kind of put in the conversation, though it's luxury now, is the Land Rover, the Land Rover, not Discovery, the Defender that has the 2-door and 4-door, but like the luxury version of off-road, like that still exists now. They brought that back. Like that's also very cool. You can get it with a V8. Like that's just sweet. So things like that, like I would love to bring that back. The engine I would put in it. That's where this gets tricky. Because if you wanted to succeed, you would need multiple engines. You need something like the Wrangler or the Bronco is doing. You need a 4-cylinder, you need a 6-cylinder, you need a V8. Quite frankly, that's what it would need. If I had to pick one engine to put into it, personally, I would put a Coyote into, or not a Coyote. Sorry, Coyote's in the Bronco. That's what I would put in the Bronco. I would put a Corvette motor in it. I would put an LT, I think it's LT4. LT4. LT6. I forget what the designation is. Either way, modern Corvette V8 engine is what I would put into that. Of course, detuned. We're not putting like a freaking, we're not putting a ZR1 motor in there, or the Z06 motor in there, but Chevy V8, Chevy V8 in there, done. That, it wouldn't sell like hotcakes, but that's where the other conversation comes in. Make a base model with a 4-cylinder. Make a mid-range one with a V6 or an inline six of some kind. I think it would sell, and if you design it properly, it would go up against the Bronco, go up against the Wrangler, and people would like that. And especially if it's retro modern, the way the Bronco is, the way the Wrangler is. Like the Wrangler is very 911 in Porsche 911 in that sense. It's like it looks the same. It's just been updated throughout the years. The 911 is the same way. The Challenger was doing the same thing until that got axed. I think that would be a really cool one to bring back. I love that. That would be so cool. Yes. Yeah, Chad's in chat now. The Rambo Lambo. Yeah, the LM002 is probably the other one I would bring back, because that is one of the coolest things that's ever existed. Like I don't know if it was purpose built for military use or something. I forget the whole history behind it, but
it's got a history.
I know you would know more of the history than I would. The LM002 is just one of those all-time coolest freaking SUV trucks ever because of how ridiculous it is. And it was made by Lambo in the 80s. Like anything Lambo touched in the late 60s through late 80s is the coolest shit ever. It really is. Like the Countach, the beginnings of the Diablo, the LM002, the freaking the Miura, like everything that Lambo touched, even the weird stuff like the Espada, like even it's just cool. It just exudes that air of just Italian, these 80s weird luxury cool shit. Like you roll down the street in a Countach in any year, literally any year since it came out, and people are gonna look at you and go, that guy's fucking cool. Like that's just awesome. Same thing in the LM002. You bring that back, I mean, the Lamborghini makes a Hurricane Storado, an off-road supercar, literally a car. You telling me they can't make a truck? Get the fuck out of here. Like that they could absolutely bring that back, and I think they should. So those are my two choices. And for the engine, for that thing, put a V10 in it.
They don't make a V10 anymore.
They should.
V12, the LM002 or whatever came with V12.
Yes, but it's a modernized engine. So like
the Revolto's V12.
That's true. The Revolto does have a V12. Actually, yeah, screw it. Toss a Revolto V12 in it. Why not?
See, a couple of things. Number one, did I hear that Steve? Yeah, I see the comment now. The new Bronco sucks ass. That might be one of your worst takes ever, Steve.
Yeah, I disagree with that completely.
Also, a K10 Blazer with a 4-cylinder would get to 0 to 60 and eventually. They were full size. Like, just to give you a rough idea, you remember the 2-door Tahoes?
Yes.
That was the successor, basically, to the K10 Blazer. In case you don't speak Chevy, K10 means 4-wheel drive, C10 means rear-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Anyway, cartism aside, couple of things. Number one, the Bronco.
Put that on a shirt.
I'm sure someone has.
Yeah, probably.
March shall henceforth be known as Cartism Awareness Month.
Yes.
I heard you say put a coyote in a Bronco.
Yeah, I saw you comment Coyote the World.
Well, no, that was because you mistakenly said put it in a Blazer, which is
yes.
I'm here for the lols.
Slip of the tongue, but in reality,
Freudian slip.
You should probably do that anyway.
But I will say this, and this might absolutely shock you. if I was putting a V8 into a Bronco, let's face it, I'm going with the Bronco Raptor because those things are just so
Cool.
unnecessary. I love them.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I would put a Megazilla in it.
Oh, the 7.3?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a cool ass engine.
And then,
And you're not wrong. I will say you're not wrong. As much Coyote love as you have, a Bronco with a 7.3 sounds the right kind of crazy.
mostly, I mean, those engines are tall, so obviously it's, if you've ever sat in like a Bronco Raptor,
Yeah.
it's kind of hilarious because it's like the hood ends over there and then it's, the Marianas Trench off the front of it.
Yeah, because it's so damn tall.
Ooh, Ryan has a good one over on YouTube. Jeep XJ, which if I'm not seriously mistaken, the XJ was that sort of Etch-a-Sketch designed Cherokee, right? Like the Cherokee
Yeah.
with the 4-liter,
Yeah.
which I could absolutely get behind. And a Suzuki Samurai, yes.
Actually, hell yes. Suzuki Samurai is a good shout. That was a cool little car. That's why I want the Jimny in the United States. It's basically like a mini freaking G-Wagon. Like it's boxy, it's tiny.
We lost Greg. While Greg is, while I am fixing this,
I have returned.
yes, you have.
Hooray!
Yes. So, real quick, Joel said something. He mentioned diesel, which got me thinking. I was thinking, so like obviously like a K10 Blazer would be kind of cool to compete with the Bronco, because the Bronco, it's not as simple as saying it shares an F-150 chassis because it doesn't, but there's a lot of similar crossover and componentry. We don't have time to get into it. What I would bring back is the Ram Charger, which is that two-door full-size SUV, but from Ram. Right? So, full-size Ram. I'd even bring it back as a 2500 because God knows I'd sell tens of them.
Many tens of them.
But imagine that style of vehicle with the modern Ram design aesthetic, which I think is very nice. I really do like the way the new Rams look. With a 6.7 common rail Cummins under the hood.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now we're talking.
Like, that would be... that would be so unnecessary. And they wouldn't sell
Unnecessary.
any of them.
No.
But it would so be
12
cool.
12 a month to ultra rich people.
Steve goes, Greg and Chad. Using our government names. I don't like that. There's a lot of people out there who don't understand there are two different chassis under the newer Bronco. People destroying their axles in the Escape chassis Bronco. So, technically, you have the Bronco. Which is the body on frame. One you want. And then the Bronco Sport, which is basically a crossover that's been given the illusion of off-roading prowess.
Yeah.
Like, is it better than an
is
Escape?
not-
That,
That's my Bronco.
for the record, wouldn't touch it with Greg's dick. Like, wouldn't even go close to it.
I wouldn't touch it with my dick either.
Sean goes, can Ford bring back
there's-
the Excursion for that logic? Yes.
Yeah. There's one Bronco. It's the one we're thinking of. It's not the Bronco.
Just like there's one Mustang.
Correct. There's no Bronco Sport. Like as far as I'm concerned, the Bronco Sport does not exist. That is basically just a boxy Escape. That's all that is.
There's some dipshit of a kid who lives in my development or lives technically across the street from me with the Bronco Sport. We're really, and this is going to make some sense, but I live in a townhome development. As you might imagine, the way these things are set up, there's little short runs on the roads, and then it comes into like a 4-leaf clover with each segment of townhomes. And then you have the more traditional townhomes across the street. I hear him pulling out, and what really irks me is when I hear people pulling out on either side, and it's like, okay, there's first gear, second gear. How the fuck are you getting into third gear in like less than 300 feet? That is so unnecessary. You know, and he drives a Bronco Sport. So like whenever I hear Bronco Sport, I'm like, jackass.
Of course.
Let's see here. Sean continues, the Samurai still exists. It's called the Jimny. Literally the same vehicle. I would so get a Jimny if I could. Like a modern one.
That's what I was saying when I cut out. Like the Suzuki Samurai was the whole part of that conversation. I want the Jimny to be part of the U.S. market. It is literally a half-size G-Wagon. It's boxy, it's cool, it's minimalistic, and you can take it off-road, and it's actually like a good little car. Like, I would drive the shit out of that thing. It's so cool. Like, I would use that as my daily, quite frankly. It's such an awesome little truck thing.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives in Arizona, and like every now, like because of his proximity to a certain border, he sees them a bit, and like he sends me pictures of ones for like sale and stuff like that, and like that's a cool little thing. I mean, I can't justify spending like $45,000 on one, at least not yet. But like those are really cool, and like Andrew agrees with Steve B. I agree with Steve. I can drive a new Bronco anytime I want. I avoid it like the plague. To each their own. Let me put it to you this way. How do I put this? In terms of the Bronco, the only one that really appeals to me is the Raptor. Just because I like how it's just so borderline cartoonish in the way it's designed. It is as wide as a full-size pickup truck, but the cabin itself is like 10 inches, maybe even a foot narrower than that. Yeah, so it's like it's on a footprint that should be a full-size, but the interior is like a mid-size. But it goes back to I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and it's circling back to what an old Jason Camisa quote, and that car enthusiasm is pretty much like sexual preference. You're into what you're into, and it's
the end.
I don't like. I was almost going to say something that would have been 100% phrasing, and I'm not. That's cool. Like, Greg is into vastly different vehicles than I am. You know, if I sat here and said, Greg, here's $100,000, go buy whatever the hell you want with it, I guarantee you it is going to be very, very different to what I end up with the same budget.
Yes.
You know, and that's, again, that's what makes this hobby fucking awesome, is the fact that everybody has different tastes, and they bring a little, and the cars they drive, and I don't mean every individual on the planet, I mean car enthusiasts. Their car is an extension of their personality or what they want their personality to be, right? Like, I'm kind of a wise ass, I'm kind of a wisecracker. I do come across in certain situations as a fairly large personality. So I don't mind having a Mustang that shouts at the top of its lungs every time I start it, or the fact that it has a loud exhaust, or any of that sort of stuff, right? But, you know, Greg likes something different. You know, Andrew, Steve, Sean, Ryan, like all you guys might like something different. Hell, Luke over on Facebook, you know, even mentioned that cars should be efficient, not gas guzzlers. I just don't get it. LOL. Like, and that's fine too, right? Like, if you're into cars, you're into cars. Like, and if you just have the same mentality, so what I'm looking for here. If we all just have the same mentality of, like, you know, and this applies to life in general, is just because I'm into something doesn't make me right and Greg wrong.
Right.
Greg being wrong is what makes Greg wrong. No, I'm kidding. You know, if you just applied that, and it's like, I'll use Sean as an example. Sean has a build he's been working on, and we actually had a fairly friendly differing of opinions on a certain mod he's going to be doing to that car. I won't bore you with the details because, frankly, without a visual aid, I don't even really totally understand it. But, like, at the end of the day, Sean, you have it on record. It's going to be on YouTube forever. That's the mod you want to do? Fucking do it. Like, if I'm sitting here and busting your chops or saying, hey, I'd do something different, guess what? Not my car. When it comes time to do it to my car, I can do it my way. If you have a way that you're going to like and it's going to be good, fucking do it. Just like if you want to buy a car that, like, may not be up my street or may not be Greg's deal or may not be, you know, Steve's deal or whoever, who cares? At the end of the day, I'm not going to drive your car. I'm not going to look at it every day. Until I get those cameras set up. You know, it doesn't have to please me. It has to please you.
Right.
You know, and if anything, if like, and that sort of stuff. So, Ryan goes, the Bronco Sport is a disgrace to the Bronco 2. Fair enough. Sean wants his old Passport / rodeo to get finished and make cross-country adventures. Are you talking about your specific car? Or are we still paying what SUV from the pages of history would you bring back? And then Sean continues, I actually really enjoyed the Blazer ZR2 I scoped up for my brother. That has the 90s SUV charm to it. The 4.3 under the hood was pretty punchy for what it was. Andrew goes, I don't know what mod Sean wants, but ALR, I'm guessing that's all. All I know is Chad is wrong. Probably. I mean, it does involve using stuff you would put on your house on the car, but whatever. Who cares? At the end of the day, Timmy's Sean's car. If it's going to put a smile on his face, who the fuck am I to tell him not to do it?
That's right.
You know?
There's someone that's wrapped a Forester around me pink, and I see it all the time. And every time I see it, I'm just like I just shake my head. And I'm like, you know what? That person likes it. Because I always have the same thought. I'm like, that person did that on purpose. Is it my taste? Do I think it's hideous? Yeah. Sure.
Should they be allowed to breed? Wait, hold on.
But that's their particular cup of tea. So
every time I see a pink car, and I've been seeing a lot of I think I've actually seen a pink Subaru.
The Forester.
And my first thought is, ooh, it's a bold color choice. Well, my immediate second thought is, wow, Mary Kay has fallen on hard times.
That's what I was every time.
The girls used to get a Cadillac. And it may have been pink, but they got a Cadillac out of the deal. Now it's a Subaru.
I've also seen a pink Mercedes G-Class, GLE, whatever that like raised fastback thing is. I don't know what the hell.
Oh, anything that's a fastback in an SUV, I immediately erase from my mind because.
Correct. Yeah. Well, that's why I don't remember the name of it, but I've seen one of those pink around here too, and I'm just like, well, one, I am judging you for your car choice because it's awful, but two, the pink is like, that's you. You enjoy it, whatever. I'm just gonna not enjoy it at all. But that's me. You do you.
Sean, good news. Steve believes in you with the Timmy. However, your Honda is questionable. I mean, to be fair, if you're going to listen to anyone about Hondas, you should probably listen to Steve. Andrew, hot take, but my S60 will get an Itachi wrap at some point just because. I'm sure to people who know what Itachi, yeah, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that, is, that might be a hot take. For me, I have no idea what that means. I'm guessing anime, but I could be wrong. Could be a brand of seaweed for all I know.
I'll be right back, actually. And then we're going to talk our next topic.
Talk our next topic. I believe you should sing our next topic.
No one wants to hear that.
I'm pretty sure
Not
we
since
can
high
have
school.
chat bully that. At any rate. Let's see here. Sean goes, feel free, Chad, to tell the YouTube people that I don't have that chat up currently. What? I'm going to need that in English. Steve Veldkamp goes, there's a dude that drives around me with a hot pink livery Impreza. I mean, nothing against the color pink. I've told you guys on numerous occasions that if I had my druthers, I would have a car in the Lark livery, which is a dark metallic charcoal color, very close to black, but has that depth to it that a charcoal would, I guess. And a sort of orangish, pinkish pearl graphics. And I'm sure some of you look at me and like that. One of the all-time dumbest things I've ever heard. Totally fine. Let's see here. Sean goes, but my Honda isn't actually a Honda. It's a Isuzu, so Steve has no standing. True or false? That same car was sold as a Honda. Therefore, it falls under Steve's area of expertise, regardless of its design origin. I'm obviously paraphrasing how Steve would defend that. Andrew goes, Chad hiding the knowledge, but guessing correct is wild. I don't know. Anytime I see a Japanese word and I don't understand it, my first guess is anime. I think I could name like maybe one or two animes. Like, I know Attack on Titan is a thing. Is like One Punch Man a anime? I have no idea. Much like certain car things, that stuff, even if I was interested, I have the time I have to watch stuff versus the backlog of stuff I want to watch. I'm backlogged for a while, if that makes any sense. Where was I going with this? Don't know. Let's see here. Ryan over on YouTube. How about an SUV with a half soft top, also known as the Isuzu Amigo? Would that be worse than a fastback SUV? Not really sure. If I'm being perfectly honest, the only time like a removable... I'm not a convertible guy at all. I know that's weird because I know a lot of car guys do enjoy convertibles. It's just not me. Whether it be cars, SUVs, any of that sort of stuff. Like the convertible side of it almost makes a little more sense to me in SUVs than it does in cars. And when I say sense, I mean like just something I'd potentially want. You know, like the Jeeps that you can remove the top, that kind of makes sense to me because you're out in nature and you want to experience more of the, said nature. But like Jeeps and the Bronco, those are the only ones that kind of make sense to me. Everything else, like, I could do without them is the point. So if they're like the Amigo you're mentioning, like lives or dies, stays, leaves, comes back, doesn't come back, whatever, it's not really going to move my needle one direction or the other. If hopefully that makes sense. Steve goes, I miss the old Cadillac pearl paints. Interesting. The fact that wraps are getting so good now that they can mimic a color like the Lark pink is pretty amazing. Because I don't know if you understand, that Lark pink is a multi-layered color. It's a lot like... It's very similar to like a candy, or to put it in a more understandable vein. Like, remember the color shifting paints back in the day when they were all the craze. And how they achieve that is to just have many layers of different colors that are mostly clear coat so that light can pass through it, and that's what causes the color shift. The Lark Pink is kind of like that, with like a deep orange base, getting lighter, eventually reaching pink on the top. So it has elements of orange, it has elements of pink, and it just works, for me, at least. And like, Innosatech has been able to duplicate that in a wrap. To have that depth is pretty freaking insane to me. Let's see here. Sean goes, every time I see a Nissan Murano convertible, yuck, I want to introduce the vehicle to 5 pounds of serious putty. It's a bit of... It's a bit of an extreme take, but... Sorry. That's a bit of it, but those cars are... I would make the argument that those Nissan Murano convertibles are filled with more Y than like the Aztec. I would 10 out of 10 times choose an Aztec over one of those Murano convertibles. They are the most hideously ugly things to come out of the automotive industry in recent memory. Let's see here. Oh boy, oh wow, chat just sort of... What the hell just happened to chat? Am I still live? Let's see here. All right, I'm gonna have to... So, real quick, in case this is unobvious, my program that uses chat here has freaked out and just like yeeted all of your guys' chats from the last like 30 minutes. Let's see if I can bring it back. Oh, here we go. Don't know why that fixed it. Let's see here. Ryan goes, Aztecs were overweight CRXs. Yes, I'm not saying that they are good vehicles. Oh, shoot. What I'm saying is that I would take one over a Murano convertible. That's literally it. If you gave me those two options, I would choose the Aztec. And I wouldn't, cook meth. Drugs are bad. Let's see here. Sean goes, yeah, I can't imagine I'm the only person who hates that SUV. Point proven. Joel goes, I have an Outback 3.6 in Canada, Quebec. From December to March, all interference from Subaru is off, and 3 months of fun. Don't underestimate the fun of Nordic Drive. Those 3.6s are one of the most interesting engines that have been built in recent memory, because to get the bore required, was it the bore? No, sorry, the stroke required. It has an offset. They're offset pistons, meaning. Do I have something that's circular that I can use as a visual aid? Aha! So, like, picture this as your piston, right? Normally the piston's centered. In those engines, they're slightly offset so that it can get the stroke required to meet that displacement. So, why I have a random CD lying above my computer, I have no idea. Or DVD, or whatever the fuck that is. Which is crazy because that's used a lot in diesel technology. So, it's a really interesting engine, and I've seen one with someone put one of those into a BRZ, and it sounds epic. It doesn't sound exactly like it, but it sounds enough like a Porsche RS, like a 911 RS, to make me want to do that. Like, that's how cool that is. So those are really cool, really, really cool engines. I don't know why my chat is being annoying.
It's you.
Let's see here. It is 100% on my end because like chat is appearing and disappearing, and like certain ones are coming through, certain ones are not. Like it's annoying.
Oh, wow.
And last bit of chattery before we move on to BMW and their M division. Greg and I have both owned M's with varying degrees of success.
Yes, with varying amounts of pistons as well.
Sean asking the hard questions. You should be an investigative journalist. He goes, if you had to choose between a Murano convertible or a PT Cruiser convertible, and the Cruiser can have the 2.4 liter turbo, by the way, what would you do?
Oh my God.
Walk.
Yeet myself off a cliff?
Oh my gosh. Neither of those. Oh my gosh.
If I had to, I would get the PT Cruiser just because
Which one has better resale?
I would literally get the PT Cruiser just for the sake of getting the sticker for the window that says "Nice PT Cruiser," said no one ever, and I would put that on my car. That's the only reason. Also, it does have you can have one with the SRT motor in it and build it, which would be cool. So
you and I have vastly different definitions of cool.
For what it is, it's the coolest PT Cruiser. But I would get that Murano. I could not live with myself if I
couldn't look at
that
it.
car.
It
is like the Ark of the Covenant. I would go blind every time I looked at it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's the. See if we remember this from the Austin Powers reference. It's the Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day of the automotive world.
Yes, that is accurate. It is the Medusa. It would turn me to stone every time.
Ugh. I've just gone from midnight to 6. At any rate, BMW and the M division. Greg, go.
Yes, hi. News, everyone. So BMW has an M division.
Shocking.
No, not the news. But it's not like part of the reason why this is news is because so many people thought as cars evolved, like all this motorsport stuff, all this sporty stuff would just go the way of the dinosaur. And so many people don't understand car people. Like, even if you took all the sportiness out of cars, there would be car people that are going to jailbreak EV cars and make them faster. Trust me. Hot rodders will hot rod anything, no matter what you're forced into. So the M division is here to stay for a very long time. Trust me. But with all that said, BMW and the M division itself is still going to be thriving in the next many, many years. And M is sort of expanding into this realm of like make more stuff. And BMW in recent years has, like I've said, diluted the gene pool with things like the X4, the X6, and all this stuff, that finding these like micro niches that nobody needs. However, BMW is doubling down on that because now they're saying that there is going to be a whopping 30 new BMW M cars or M car updates in the next 30 months, which I don't know why these journals and outlets use these things that like parents use for their baby's age. Like, how old is your baby? Oh, my baby's 216 months old. Like, can you just say the years, please? It's 2.5 years, basically, is what it boils down to. So, like, in the next 2.5 years, we are going to be apparently getting 30 new
BMW's 30 for 30.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
what if I
30
told
new
you
M4M cars. But this doesn't mean we're getting 8 new M3s. It's basically kind of just part of this is updates. So it's not just necessarily new cars. So what they're doing is they're going to be like refreshing things. We are getting new cars though, so they'll probably in that time frame there'll probably be another M3 or an M3 refresh. Same thing with an M4 potentially, M2. M2 being the last one with a manual that's probably going to be offered, and that unfortunately probably is eventually going to go away, and it probably is going to happen in these next 2.5-3 years. But either way, it doesn't matter what they're doing. That is an insane amount of car updates or new cars in that amount of time. And we sort of touched on this earlier. It takes 7 years to bring a new car to fruition. So did they just start doing this like 4 years ago with all these updates? And then, they're all hitting now? So like that's a truly insane amount of things happening for the BMW M division in the next by 2030, essentially.
So I was looking at oh God, why did it do this? What just happened?
Uh-oh.
So Google Chrome does this new thing where it like allows you to have 2 tabs in one tab, and it doesn't make any sense to me, but
I hate that. I don't have that.
Like, I don't mind it. It's just off-putting. So, like, I can have a tab that has, like, my Facebook Live and have, like, the chat up. Because chat is proving unreliable on the streaming software side of things.
Yeah.
But, and anyway, back to the BMW M. So, in the article you sent me from Car and Driver, or Road and Track, or any of the journals that are shelved of former glory. Let me see here. I saw it here. By 2029, Neil said 30 new full-fat M and milder M performance models are due for release. And these models will be powered by gas, plug-in hybrid, and pure electric powertrains. So, that leads me to believe that there's going to be a wave of electric M cars.
Probably, yeah.
And a lot of the gas and hybrid versions are getting updates.
Yep.
But like the M performance side of things, that doesn't take 7 years to gestate. That's a stiffer spring here, slight body tweak there. Yep. Bob's your uncle. We're done. Mm-hmm. There's no. I don't want to say there's no engineering involved, because obviously suspension geometry, you have to engineer for that, even if it is a milder, stiffer springs, thicker sway bar, yada, 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 bigger wheels, yep, etc. So, I don't know, this feels like the headline's like, ooh, 30 new M models. Let me take a look.
Yeah.
Oh, they're including all. Electric, yay.
Yeah, and updates too.
And updates. So it's like,
Yeah. Either way you slice it, it's
the 2024 BMW M4 now with free heated seats. You don't have to pay the subscription anymore. We did it. You're welcome. Fuck you.
Yeah. But it still is a lot, even if it's just an update. It's still a lot for a car company to have just in general.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I honestly think it's part of the model refresh, right? Like, it's not a full-fledged model. So the 2026 BMW M4 is slightly different. Maybe not a lot, but is slightly different to the 2025 BMW M4, right? Like,
yeah.
And I think there's an element of that in play. I also think that, we obviously know we're getting all electric M's soon. Mm-hmm. So obviously there's going to be that probably 30% of this right off the rip.
Yep. True.
And then you figure updates, to the regular M's, which the way they do things, it's not as impressive as it used to be because you used to have an M3 coupe and an M3 sedan. So that was one. So the new M3 was 2 cars. Now it's M2, M3, M4, M5. Do they still make the? They don't make the 6 Series no more.
No.
What about the 8s? So that's
gone too.
That's 4 right there. Then probably an M. They have the X5M.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So that's 5. Bam! 5 more with an M Performance, which is nobody cares.
I know.
And it's so dumb because what does M stand for? M stands for motorsport. So technically, M Performance, motorsport performance, would technically, by definition, be a little hotter, but it's not because it's just a way to add $15,000 to a vehicle without really adding much.
Yeah. There is one thing that they're talking about that piqued my interest near towards the end of the article that I was like, ooh, if they do that, that would be very cool. Is they would actually make an M off-road SUV. Now, BMW has been doing the Dakar Rally for as long as we've been alive. That's for sure. Probably
With the
longer.
Diesel straight 6.
Right. But an M SUV off-roader sounds fucking amazing. Like, I would love for them to do that and take on like a Bronco Raptor or like, F-150 Raptor and like all sorts of off-road fast Baja craziness. Like, that sounds so cool. I want them to do that so badly. Like, regular M cars, great. We've had those for years. Love them. They're great. Update them, make them fast. Cool. Make an off-road M SUV, please. Because, like you said, we have the X5M, which is fast, really nice looking SUV. Awesome. Very cool. An X5MX, or whatever the hell they would call it, like, that sounds super dope. I want to see that. Like an X5M with 13 inches of suspension travel and big knobby 37-inch tires. Yes, please do that. Make that happen. Oh, and also give it a twin turbo V8 with 700 horsepower. Yes. All the yeses. Give me that. Give me that, please. That would be amazing. So, like, the end of the article, as Chad chokes, the end of the article basically says they were talking to one of the heads of product at BMW, where he quoted, "I could imagine M on off-road products because if you come from racing, excuse me again, there's not only the WEC, which stands for World Endurance Championship, and IMSA, International Motorsports Association, sports categories, but the Paris Dakar Rally, which is part of that quote." So they're saying, like, while an off-road M SUV is possible, BMW will apparently not build any CS or competition sport SUV models anytime soon. Who cares if it's a CS? Just make an M off-roader. Like, that sounds super, super freaking awesome. Muted.
I can't think of anyone who out there ever who wants an X5M CS. Like, that makes absolutely
CS is for the track. Keep that to the sedans, the coupes, the end. Even a wagon. Cool. Make a CS wagon. Fine. CS is an SUV. Totally agree. Dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You don't need a performance SUV for the track. No one wants or needs that. Period. You know what we do need? A performance SUV off-road. Make that, please. Thank you. Please do that.
Again, I think this is sort of an odd, like, the headline makes you think, but then, like, you really dive into what BMW is doing. It makes sense. I mean, obviously an off-road, like a G-Wagon competitor would basically be what that is, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody knows G-Wagon is effectively Mercedes' Jeep, except they went a different direction with it. But it was a military vehicle that they converted for consumer use. And Obviously, they put ridiculous engines and they made it luxury and they did all this stuff to it. Um, Side pipes will never not be cool.
Yeah, accurate. Super
So
accurate.
like there's a case in their own country to build something to compete with that.
True.
I just I don't know, man. I don't mean to be a downer. I think the off-road thing would be cool, but I think this is, how do I put this? It's not clickbait because it's objectively true, and I wouldn't even go as far as to say it's legit bait because technically it is, but
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's it's inflating what the real story is, right? Like again, just
Yeah.
go through 5 models. That's 10 new M cars if you do an M and an M Performance. Then you have the electric side of it, which I guarantee you there's going to be an M and an M Performance. So now we're up to 20 and we haven't even tried, right?
True.
And nothing has really changed. Like not one thing has changed.
Right.
Are those extra cars going to be sort of the Bavarian, Bronco Raptor fighter? That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So, and then I'm guessing there'll be an M Sport version of that, right? Like, I'm just assuming that it's 15 new variants or updates,
Yeah.
and there's going to be an M and an M Performance version of each.
Yeah.
I don't know. BMW is a very interesting company because we all know with the beaver teeth generation of stuff was not received well. And it hasn't aged well. It wasn't like the
No.
Hourglass Grill when Lexus first came out with it, when you're like, holy cow! And then towards the end, you're like, I actually kind of like that now.
Yeah, predator face. Oh god. And then by the end you're like, "Oh, that actually kind of looks pretty good."
Like, so I don't know. It's interesting because I think BMW's at a pivot or a pivotal point in their, like, where do they go from here? And like, they seem to be one of the few brands who's like, no, we said we were going to bring an electric M3. God damn it, we're going to bring an electric M3. We don't care. It's coming. Deal with it. Which part of me respects them for. Part of me's like, okay, and I'll continue not caring.
Yeah.
Whatever. But again, I'm not their target demographic. What I think is almost irrelevant to them. So like, I will be interested to see where they go with this.
Yeah, same.
And what their next step is and how they sort of, like this is almost like a, new console. Okay, Xbox whatever wasn't very good. What's the next one? Okay, right? Like this is their sort of reboot. They're fresh. Like here's the new. Let's see where they go. And don't get me wrong, I like BMW. I like BMW in the sense that I like that the M still exists.
Yeah.
Is about the extent to which I like BMW. So, no, it'll be interesting to see.
I will say one thing that they did say in the article from the quote from the actual BMW M division head was another quote of BMW has a long tradition in 6-cylinder inline engines, which makes them more or less iconic for us, and also with the V8 engines. We are planning to continue this because we have a big community worldwide. So that means obviously they're like we all know that they're contending with internal combustion, but the V8 is part of their plan. So that actually is huge. And it's not that they're not going the Mercedes route, which we've talked about ad nauseum of trying to do like a 4-cylinder hybridization thing here. They are very much in the camp of we know our customer base. We're going to expand on it and potentially, get these EVs in here, whatever. But we're also still going to make the inline 6s and the V8s, which is what we have been talking about ad nauseum on this.
They need to put the M5
forever.
on diet though. Like,
they do, yeah. Well, it's about as heavy as a collapsed star, yes, but still, the fact of the matter is they're still making inline 6s and V8s for those that want them alongside of the EVs for those that want them. We want the choice. We have subscription services to watch whatever the hell we want now.
Don't mention subscription in BMW. It's like, oh, you want all 8 cylinders to fire? Well, that's going to cost you $200 a month.
No.
Oh, you want the wastegate to go beyond 5 psi of pressure? Well,
no. None of this unlocking power bullshit. No.
BMW has microtransactions in your sports car.
Don't like cable? Watch Netflix. Watch Hulu. You do like cable, but don't want literally every channel? Pay $10 a month. Get your local sports. Pay $15. Get ESPN and all that fun stuff. That's fine. But like, my whole point is you're spoiled for choice. Like, continue the choice in cars where don't just get rid of everything just for EVs or hybrids. Still make the inline sixes. Still make the V8s. People are still going to buy them. People want those things. They don't want to just. Which is why I was very angry when Ford got rid of all the sedans. Like, you're getting rid of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of customers to push them into what? An Escape? What are you doing? No one wants that. Give them a Taurus, give them a freaking Fusion, and now they're talking about bringing them back. It's like, well, I wonder why? Because people want those things. Like, so whole point of that tangent is, I'm glad that BMW actually understands their customers enough to be like, yes, we're going to continue producing the good shit. But if you want this other stuff, we're going to make that for you too. So I appreciate that. And I respect that a lot.
Right. And circling back to our original topic, where we're sitting here and we see a lot of these car companies sort of like putting one foot in and then pulling whether it's, electric car sales aren't going to be what we thought in America. Let's sort of go back one foot in with a V8 or whatever, but not like totally pull the electric side thing out of it, but we're just going to put this on the back burner. BMW, you could argue, is setting themselves up to be political climate proof. In the sense of internal combustion on this side, hybridization, and electrification. It's all part of their portfolio. You buy whatever the hell BMW tickles your fancy.
Yep.
The end.
Absolutely.
And then they can adjust production to where the winds. So right now it's internal combustion. We'll have internal combustion here, electrification here. The tides are shifting. We can just, dimmer switch certain things. Where others are going to they're going to be a year or two behind as they, our whatever facility is set up for this, we need to retool it to do something else.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch on a couple things in chat before we get to the bad news about this whole BMW thing. Sean goes, Mitsubishi should just bring back the Pajero/Montero. Steve goes, let me just pull up the thread. Steve goes, they're owned by Nissan, bro. That's not happening for us gearheads. The Pajero is coming back. There's already spy shots of it. It's already being tested.
Yep.
So I just wanted to have that as a point of clarification. Looks like a full-size SUV. I don't know if it's... I think it's based on a Nissan... Fuck, I forget. I did a video on it. I forget exactly what platform it is. But it's a thing. And it'll be a tangible thing you can buy soon. Why can't I want to... Let me go back to the... Is this the regular? Yes. And then Sean goes, funny thing, in Europe, you can still get utility versions of the G-Class, from my understanding, but we don't get them. I mean, I don't think... Once you factor in shipping them over here or building them over here or whatever, I don't think they'd fit a price point, and I don't think they would fit in with the image of Mercedes in this country. Nobody wants to have the Mercedes that isn't luxurious.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, some people would, but not in enough numbers to really make it a justifiable business.
You're talking dozens of people. That's literally it.
Yeah. You're talking about those 7 guys on that forum who just won't shut up about it.
Yeah. So us. That's pretty much it.
I can't tell you the last time I was on a forum.
Yeah.
But with all this BMW news and 30 new M things, the downside to that is, yay, we're getting performance vehicles and they're doing internal combustion. Basically, it's pick your own adventure. with BMW's performance division, which is what a lot of companies should be doing if they have the capacity to do so. The downside to that, Greg, is...
I don't know. Oh, yes, the manual. Yeah, so with all of this, basically, the manual's going away. And BMW has been one of the proponents of saving the manuals. And I believe the M2 is the only one that still offers it, or it's still in the M3. I forget which. But with all of this now happening, there's a really good chance in the next 2 to 3 years there will be no more manual BMWs ever made.
Ultimate driving machine. Really?
Yeah. Ultimate performance machine is what they'll need to change it to, because if they want to have ultimate driving machine, then, well, part of the driving experience is rowing your own.
Yes. I mean, here's the thing. You can't buy a Mercedes with a manual anymore.
Yeah.
And that's been that way for quite some time.
Oh, for very
Over a
long
decade,
time.
I think.
2 decades. They haven't had a manual.
The
Base Mercedes, but like actual performance Mercedes.
Oh, no.
It's probably been since
So
early 2000s.
here's the thing, right? You'd expect, okay, we're not going to have a manual transmission. We're going to use a performance, whether it be dual clutch or one of those. They use the 8 HP in a lot of their stuff, I believe.
Yeah.
Everybody uses the fucking 8 HP. It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's absolutely insane. The best automatic transmission on the planet at the moment, for whatever that's worth.
It's a ZF8, right?
I believe so. I have to look into it. I've been like slowly, not to go on a tangent, but I watched a Speed Academy video where it was a K-swapped NA Miata that had an 8 HP behind it with paddle shifters, and the speed and responsiveness of that transmission with paddle shifters was actually really good, and this was a track day car.
That's crazy.
And then I was watching a DDE video where they were at Victor Alvarez's shop, and if you know anything about Victor Alvarez, he is Mr. Supra. The man is a Supraholic, if you will. And he mentioned that they put a couple 8 HPs behind Supra, or 2JZs, and everything. So, like, but at any rate.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to make the manual transmission and you amortize the cost of developing and making the manual transmission across the entire product lineup, in theory, your cars should get cheaper, BMW.
Yes. Agreed.
Are they? No. But they should.
They should.
But look, I could sit here and I could pound the table. I could sit here and say these companies getting rid of manuals are missing the plot, or they just don't get it. But let's look at BMW's competition. Like I said, Mercedes, no manual. Audi, I can't think of one. I don't think they have one, but they might, in like somewhere in the range. Cadillac has a couple, in the V line.
Yep.
Lexus, no manual. Genesis, no manual. Not that I'd expect any of the cars Genesis makes to come with a manual. Yeah. Acura offers manual, but I wouldn't put Acura in the same league. And I don't mean that as a slight on Acura. I just mean there's Acura luxury, and then there's more luxury that you get with these other brands.
Yeah.
They're not bad cars. They're really nice to sit in. They're great places. But if you sit here and thinking Acura is on par with a Mercedes, we need to have a deeper conversation that has nothing to do about cars.
Very different.
So if you look at the landscape, nobody BMW is competing with is really offering a manual, apart from very rare instances.
Yeah. And
the companies that do, their manuals are not long for this world, which sucks. Don't get me wrong. It does suck to see less and less manuals out there. But at the end of the day, it's not hurting Audi's sales. It's not hurting Mercedes-Benz sales. It's not hurting Lexus's sales. as much as I want to sit here again and pound on the table and say, what are you doing? You're being dumb. You're ostracizing, a core piece of your demographic, of your buyers. But they're just not. And that's the dumb, sad, horrible reality we live in. And I don't know how you fix it, how you change it. In my estimation, it has to start at the entry level. You have to offer manuals in those entry level fun cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to make the decision of, do I want the BMW with the DSG or the automatic or whatever, because it's a BMW and it's an M3 and it's glorious, or do I want to stick to these other cars? And not for nothing, and I'm not doing this to pound the Mustang flag, but the manual in Mustangs isn't going anywhere.
No.
Still an MT82 in a lot of cases, which
sucks.
But it's not going anywhere, which is only going to make Mustangs more appealing to enthusiasts who want that manual experience. Or what it's more than likely going to do, it's going to push a lot of people to used cars.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the person who's going out and looking at an M4, looking at an M3, I don't know how big that percentage of people who are going to walk away because they can't get a manual. And are those people actually going to start looking at a BMW and end up in a Cadillac? I'd be interested to see those numbers, but I'm just going to assume, and I'm not trying to be a wet blanket, that it's not a big number.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are a very small part of the automotive community. Most of us, and those of us who do want manuals, who will accept no substitute, who absolutely have to have a manual, with the means to go buy a brand new BMW M3, it's a very small number.
Very accurate.
What BMW really should do is go back to the E46 days. The SMG, or the dual, I don't know if it wasn't a dual clutch, it was a single clutch automated manual, flappy paddle gearbox, in the E46 M3.
Mm.
Well, if you remove some of the hydraulic lines and plug them up and do some other, in the world of transmissionry, relatively basic stuff. I have no idea what I'd be doing, but all I know is that you could take an SMG gearbox in an E46 M3, modify it, add a shift lever from the manual, because it was a manual transmission. It was just, instead of your left foot doing the clutching, it was hydraulic lines and a computer controlling it.
Yep.
So,
but it was possible.
They're obviously never going to go back to something like that just because of how good the modern automatic is, let alone the dual clutches.
Yeah.
But it's sad. At the end of the day, I don't want to sit here and say I'm making excuses for them, but it's sad, because manuals, again, are a dying thing. But, again, that being said, when we sit here and yell at a car company to bring back the manuals, we have to do what Porsche buyers did. When Porsche buyers yelled at Porsche for the GT3 RS not having a manual, when they came out with one and sort of split it between the GT3 Touring and the GT3 something else, I forget. Regardless, the manuals sold out. So when that happens with a car you can afford and you're shopping for a new car, if you don't buy it, they're not going to make them. There's not going to be a case study. If they sit here and go, we listen to these screaming fans talk about bringing a manual back, and then nobody bought it, the likelihood of that happening again is reduced. If that happens too many times, guess what happens? It goes away.
Right. Accurate. Very true.
But at any rate, Steve, have a good one. You and ground beef. You might want to look into that. I'll feel better about it.
Yeah, dude. Get some rest.
But on that note, do you have anything to add on the BMW manual side of things?
No, you pretty much said everything I wanted to say. It is sad, honestly. It was an inevitability, though. I will say that some companies are exploring manual shifting in EVs, so it's not like
get that.
It's not like it's
no.
Well,
No,
hang on.
1,000% no.
here's the thing. It's not like they're completely giving up on it. It's not like they're just throwing in the towel saying, you know what? Screw it. We don't have to. But at least some engineers out there are saying we want to have an engaging experience regardless of what's happening. It's not what I want, definitely not what you want, and it's not what any enthusiast wants. But it is something that is at least being thought about. And that is something that leads me down a path of hope for the future of the automobile in general, because companies can literally just wipe sports cars and sportiness off the planet and be just fine. Because like you said, 90 to 99% of people don't give two flippity fucks about sports cars or anything like that. They just want an appliance to get them from here to there. That's it. So the fact that companies are still having conversations about it and still thinking future forward about it at least gives me hope that there's going to be performance, fun, maybe not a manual, but something down the line that is going to keep enthusiasm alive. And that's something that at least gives me a little bit of a glimmer. So, excuse me. Well, in the short term, it's sad and it sucks. We can always go out and buy an old car with a manual, which will be more engaging and more fun than a newer car. And once again, we have that choice.
Right. I mean, without getting too much into the deeper meaning of this conversation, one thing I will say about that is, yes, there is a thought of manual and engaging driving experience. But on the flip side, you could make the argument that is... God, how do I put this? That it is the minimum effort side of it.
True.
Right?
True.
And part of engagement is real. Is knowing that something is real. Right? When I'm pressing the clutch and shifting in my car, I know that my left foot is disengaging the clutch when I press it down. My right hand is physically changing the gears. And my left foot is disengaging the clutch in such a fashion that it's all a smooth process.
Yeah.
If that is just a thing that I can do, but it's not really doing anything, it's just there. It's basically like a fidget spinner. To me, at least, I don't bother. It's almost not really, but there is an air of I'm being patronized.
So it's better in your eyes. It's better to not have it at all than to
in
have
electric
this
cars.
bastardized
Absolutely
version
not.
of it.
Like in electric cars, no. Like forget it, no,
Yeah.
because it's fake.
Yeah.
It's not real. I'm not literally doing anything. The car, like in a manual, I know it's slower, but I'm doing something. I'm physically moving the gear lever that's changing the gears in a transmission that is next to me. I'm literally controlling how the clutch engages and disengages. Like, I don't want to sit here and say there's a skill to it, but there's the feeling that I am affecting how this car is driving. Right? That without me, this car doesn't...
You are controlling the car.
Right? Like, without me, the car stays in first gear and it can't get above 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's to me, I hate fake. I hated the fake noise in the electric Charger. That Phasma douchebaggery tronic or whatever the hell they called it. Hated it because it's fake. It's not real. And I'm sure some people will sit here and go, hey, this is really, really fun. But it's like some video games, right? Like, you get in and go, man, this is really, really fun. 2 months later, you're not playing it anymore. It's like, I got bored with it.
Right.
And that's to me what it's about. It's about real. So electric cars should focus on being electric cars. If you want, they shouldn't try to be what they're not because it's disingenuous. What really should be happening is these manufacturers should be looking at one another and saying, okay, we need to build a modular manual transmission like the ZF, like the 8 HP automatic. It's in Jaguars. It's in Chargers. It's in Hellcats. It's in BMWs. Right?
Yeah.
Those are all manufacturers you wouldn't think have any sort of crossover whatsoever. But they do. Build the 8 HP version of a manual. And now you're amortizing the cost to build it. And instead of getting 10,000 orders from BMW, you're getting 2,500 from here. You're getting 2,500 from Ford. You're getting 2,500 from Chevy. The order is the same. The person building the transmission is still fulfilling the same order. It's just it has more places to go. And obviously there'll be some slight modifications to make it fit, to make it work. But if all of these companies came together and said, hey, the cost of the manual would plummet. And then it would become a more appealing thing to where, okay, we don't need to sell a bajillion of these, or we don't need to sell a ton of these to make it worth it. You know, to me, that makes more sense. Like this notion of, it's like you have kids, right? How many times when they were growing up and they were throwing a fit, did you just sort of give them their whatever, their binky, their tablet, their, whatever?
Yeah.
To like, okay, here you go. And that settled them down. That's what a manual shifting like. Now, if they want to put a manual gearbox behind an electric motor, I'm here for it. Because again, I'm doing something. But just making it so you shift just to sort of please me feels like that to me. If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. And I guess from that standpoint, it's like, I'd rather not have it than have it at all in any bastardized way. Like I do totally get that, because you're right. In an EV, it's not, you aren't doing anything. It's the same thing with like the fake shifts on the CVTs. Like it's just cutting power for the sake of inefficiency.
Right, but
just
at least there's the reasoning of, if they just let the CVT, Fensky did a really good explanation this in a short he did about a new CVT transmission that's like electron. It's beyond my capacity. But basically, literally, they're adding that false shifts because people wouldn't buy them otherwise. Like, that I kind of get, because people are dumb and you're just like, okay, whatever, right? Like, but when it comes to so if someone wants a manual transmission, or wants to shift their own gears, or wants to row their own gears, or use their left hand to row their own gears from David's part of the world, welcome, by the way, buddy. They're a different class of car buyer, and I don't mean class as if they're somehow better than the rest, right? Than the person who's buying the insert a crossover here as an appliance, as literally a tool to get from point A to point B, right? So it's just different. I don't know. Like, I don't want to be patronized. There are ways to get manuals in cars and all that benefits the car industry as a whole. All it takes is just some creative thought and for someone to put their ego to the side. If Ford and Chevy can come together to build a 10-speed automatic transmission that goes in a Mustang, Camaro, Silverado, whatever the GMC Sierra, and the Ford F-150, we can figure out how to have a manual transmission that goes in pretty much anything of a certain size. Enough said. And now that Chad's triggered rant, this concludes my rant of the evening, brought to you by Barbasol. At any rate, I hate fake. I just hate stuff for the sake of putting stuff in and being like, no, this is what you asked for. No, it's not. Anyway, speaking of the binky,
yes,
Greg,
yes,
send us out with your dad advice for the week.
So there's actually, that's why I was looking down. There was something really funny that I wanted to say. That sometimes people give you advice and it's very blunt and to the point. There was one person that said they were telling funny dad stories, and this one guy in this article had said, "Once my dad came to my band show and didn't take any pictures. I asked him why, and he said, nobody wants to remember this. Which is just the best ever. What an awesome response. But
So is this a always be honest moment?
Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes honesty is the best policy. And I guess in that person's case, maybe it hurt a little to hear that, but maybe they got better at band afterwards. Sometimes maybe don't be so blunt about it, but honesty is the best policy. Don't sugarcoat it. Just tell the truth. Be genuine and be honest, and people will not only appreciate that, but also very much respect it. So be honest and be genuine. That's the best advice I can give today.
Fantastic. Great work. Honesty.
Wink.
At any rate, I just want to take a moment, thank everyone who tuned in, who commented, who shared, all of that sort of fun stuff. Thank you guys so much. We'll hopefully be back next week. We should be back next week, as long as the personal world doesn't jump in and rear its ugly
Civic duties aside, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Fuck that. At any rate, thank you so much again. That's a wrap on this show, and we will definitely